not lift up thy voice like a shofar, and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. That's from Isaiah 58. Oh, that's on. There we go. Today we're going to talk about trumpets, the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Hallelujah.
I'll hang that there. All right. Trumpets is, that's right now, I looked at it yesterday. It starts the evening of the 6th, which is next Monday, this coming Monday, and it goes through Tuesday until the evening on Tuesday. So that's trumpets. Where are we going to go right now? Leviticus 23. It's your go-to chapter on the feast, on the Moedim, the appointed times of Yah. Now, people say these are the Jewish feasts. They're not the Jewish feasts. It's because typically the Jews observe, they keep the feasts. But as we can clearly read in the beginning of 23, they're the feast of Yah. And it's just that his people keep the feast. Well, we know from Romans 11 that we've been grafted into that tree. What is that tree? That tree is Israel. We are his people. And so it is, we keep the feast because he told us to. But let's look at it. 23:23. That's like a song. In the year 2323. I don't think those are the right numbers, but it's something like that. Leviticus 23:23. Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, speak unto the children of Israel. That's us. We're Israel. Saying, in the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, you shall have a Shabbat. What's the 1st day of the month? Also, with regard to the moon.
New moon.
New moon. Brother Alex told me they're going to start doing new moon fires, barbecue, something. Again, we used to do that, and I think we're going to start doing that too. We're going to start doing the new moon observance as a group. But on this particular one, in the 7th month, in the 1st day, the new moon, you shall have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of shofars, a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh. So you make an offering by fire, you don't do any servile work, you blow trumpets. Unlike all the other appointed times for Yah, this one, he doesn't say why. Why? He just says do it. Don't do any servile work, offering made by fire unto me. That's what you do. And he says, hey, you're going to have a memorial of blowing of trumpets, a holy convocation. So what we're going to do on that Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, we're going to have a barbecue. 3 p.m. Show up-ish. You can't do any servile work that day anyway, so 3 p.m. And you need to get with Sister Kate like today or tomorrow if you're coming, so she knows, because we're going to buy the burgers and we'll be cooking burgers. Bring sides, bring your cooler of whatever you want to drink. It's just a good old Shofarian barbecue. That's all we're going to do. We're going to hang out, fellowship, and do that. We'll probably have a campfire, those kinds of things. Get with Sister Kate if you're coming and tell her how many people are coming, because she's got to buy the burgers, and we don't have a chest freezer yet to stick extra burgers in. So if you don't show up, all right. So when Israel is commanded this right here in Leviticus 23, speak unto the children of Israel, say, in the 7th month, on the 1st day of the month, you shall have a Shabbat, a memorial of blowing of the trumpets, a holy convocation. That's us getting together, a set-apart gathering, because we're set apart from the world, we're set apart from the other people, and so we get together as a set-apart people chosen unto Yah. When that was commanded to those people, because Moshe tells them this, right? And so they're like, okay, we're going to have a memorial of blowing of the trumpets. That brought something vividly to their mind. Because remember, they're still on the other side of Jordan. They haven't got to the promised land yet. They're on the far side of Jordan. Mount Sinai is looming. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. I'm in Leviticus. This is what it brought vividly to mind, because it just wasn't that long ago. Like, you're going to have a memorial blowing of trumpets. The word trumpet is there. It's something like we used to say in the military, you're going to experience a significant emotional event, which really meant big sad face for you, big scary face for you. Significant emotional event is going to occur. And that's what it brought to mind. Exodus 19. We'll just start in the beginning. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, the same day they came unto the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim, and were come into the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, that means camped, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, who were the greatest military power known at the time, and these little slaves just got away. They chased them with their tanks, their chariots, and he stopped all of that. So this is what the Father did to Mitzrayim. That's why he's calling it up, how great that was. And how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if, circle that, ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then shall you be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. If you obey the Father, then you're a peculiar people. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation, a set-apart group of people. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came, and he called for the elders of the people that laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And the people answered together. Here's where they accept the deal. Here's where the actual covenant is made. All that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. It's just like in a wedding ceremony. Do you, I do. Do you, I do. They're saying, we do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. They said, okay, they're going to do it. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Lo, come unto thee, I come into thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow. Set them apart today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. You're getting ready for the visitation of Yah. This is important to the Feast of Trumpets. And be ready again the 3rd day, for the 3rd day Yahweh will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So in the 3rd day, Yahweh's coming down in the sight of all the people. Here. Fast forward to the end of Yeshua's walk on this earth, and on the 3rd day, what happened? He rose to the Father, right? It all ties together. And thou shalt set bounds, a boundary, unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall surely be put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned and shot through, whether it be man or beast, it shall not live. When the trumpet sounds long, they shall come up to the mount. This is a different trumpet. This trumpet, if you look at the word in Hebrew, is Yobel, and it's like the priest trumpet. It's a long, like, silver thing. It's not the shofar, which is the ram's horn. And Moshe went down from the mount unto the people, and he sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the 3rd day. Come not at your wives. It's just like fasting, which we're going to do on atonement. You don't have marital relations while you're fasting. And it came to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were... Now, so before I get to that part, because this is actually why we're here, think about this. The Father tells Moshe, bring to mind to these people, first of all, I'm the Yah that brought you out of Mitzrayim, who wanted you to be slaves, who let you go because of me, who pursued after you, and I stopped that. So number one, I'm Almighty. I'm coming in the sight of all Israel 3 days from now, I'm coming. And oh, by the way, you make darn sure nobody comes up on this mountain, because if they do, they're dead. It's not like there's no second chance here. It's not like, oh, well, he's just a teenager. He didn't know what he was doing. No, he's dead if he goes up on them. And so Moshe goes and tells the people this, and they've got to sanctify themselves. They have to purify themselves. They have to set themselves apart. They're spending 3 days thinking about what's going on, what's going to happen. So they are in an anticipatory state, if you will, to do this. And then, so it came to pass on the third day, because then he warns them and they're more afraid. And then it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud on the mount. Now they're told, don't go up there, and Yah's coming. And then this happens. So there is some awesomeness going on. They are starting to be in awe of what's happening, because you know they're humans. You know they were thinking, he may come, he may not come. Who knows? But now he's coming, and they hear these thunderings and these lightnings and this thick cloud, and the voice of the trumpet. This trumpet is shofar. The voice of the shofar, exceeding loud, so that all the people was in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. Lightnings and thunders, and this dark smoke comes down on it, and there's the sound of the shofar going, blowing. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moshe spake, and God answered him by a voice. This is the closest we have, because it says God spoke with a shofar. It was the sound of the shofar. This is the closest thing it was. Mustache. And the people are like, whoa! That just happened. This was a significant emotional event for the people, and Yah is coming down at the sound of the shofar. And so when Moshe says, hey, on this day, on the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you will have a sounding of the trumpets, they know what that trumpet signifies. They remember that quite clearly from that day, and they're like, whoa, okay, this is going to commemorate that day that Yah descended down. And then what does he do? He gives the law. He gives Torah to Israel, right? He gives it to Moses, and then Moshe goes down and spreads it to the people. And that's where we get this. But that started, if you will, with Yah descending down at the sound of a shofar. All Moedim, all the appointed times, all the feasts are prophetic. There's 7 of them. They all prophesy. They all look ahead to something else. And they all deal with Yeshua. Now, the Jews didn't know that, and they would probably not care today. But they all deal with Yeshua. There's many prophecies. And some, perhaps many of the prophecies in the Word are types, meaning it prophesied for an event that happened, but that event is going to happen again, or something very similar to that event. We just spent months in Revelation, and people say Revelation, some people say Revelation was fulfilled in AD 70. That was a type of what's to come, and it's the bigger story of what's getting ready to happen in Revelation. And so Joel was a prophet. We're going to Joel. Joel was a prophet. I know, minor prophets, right? There we go. Joel. Chapter 2 of Joel. So that trumpet, when he says it'll be a feast of trumpets, you will blow your shofars, they are brought back to the time when basically the sound of a shofar is sounding, and Yah descended unto the people, if you will. Joel chapter 2, verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord, it says in English, for the day of Yahweh comes, for it is nigh at hand. Now this is much after the Israelites have gotten the word to keep trumpets. Now this is Joel, and he's saying, behold, it's coming. And it's coming with the sound of a shofar, and it is the day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh. What was it on the mountain before? Basically the day of Yahweh, right? It's the day he descends down to the people and he talks to Moses. And now Joel is saying this is going to happen again. The day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh. Let's go to the New Testament, Matthew 24. Remember when we first started Revelation, I told you all to read Matthew 24 as homework? It's a really important chapter, especially for our time. The day of the Lord. Sound the trumpet. 24:1. And Yeshua went out, and he departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yeshua said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Just a little aside. Everybody knows that Yeshua was a carpenter, right? Because Joseph was a carpenter, so he was a carpenter. You know, if you look that word up, carpenter, in the Greek, it means craftsman, one who typically works with wood or stone. And everybody thinks Yeshua was a woodworker. I'm submitting to you he was a stonemason. And many of his parables, many of his examples come from a mindset of a man who works with rock. Just interesting aside, we'll talk about that later if you want. 3, and he sat upon the Mount of Olives, and his disciples came to him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Okay, that's pretty important. When are you coming back, and what's it going to look like then? We'd like to know. And Yeshua answered, and he said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Are we hearing of wars and rumors of wars right now? Absolutely. What's he say next? Don't be troubled. See that you not be troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. He doesn't say you're not going to be affected by wars and rumors of wars. He doesn't say that you're not going to be, under duress and stress. He goes, but hey, that's got to happen before the end comes. And remember, the key question here is, when are you coming back and what's it going to look like? So now he's kind of describing what it's going to look like. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Nation against nation is ethnos against ethnos. It's race war. Have we seen anything like ethnic strife in the world? You got the Serbs and the Croats and the Bosnians. You got the whites and the blacks getting ready to mix it up in parts of this country. I think you've got blacks and Latinos getting ready to mix it up in certain places of the country. People are being divided by race, really. That's the work of the devil. That's the work of the adversary to do that, to divide us. But it's happening nonetheless. And so these things are starting to bubble and toil and trouble. The Muslims fighting each other. You've got Shia and Sunni. That's basically evolves into a race war, because we're with you, the Hutus and the Tutsis in Nigeria. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, I'll just, quick aside, I rode in the car with some people. They were both like 6 foot plus, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys. One was from Norway, the other guy was from Sweden, heritage. They were both Americans. They started arguing, and they were telling jokes about each other, about their heritage. And it's like, to me, you're both 6 foot tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed guys. It started getting nasty, and they started getting testy, and I was driving, and I did the dad thing. Are you going to make me stop this car and get you out? Cut it out. And then I told them, you guys are both, you look exactly the same to me. I don't want to hear this crap. People just want a nation against nation. And it says kingdom against kingdom. What that means is civil war. That's the kingdom against the kingdom itself. That's civil war. So these things have to happen first. And there shall be famines and pestilences of famines. Did you hear the government is paying farmers not to grow their food again, even though everyone's saying we're coming up on a food shortage? And I was just at Lowe's yesterday, and the lady told me the day before they threw all their seeds away. They wouldn't let anybody have them. Yeah, there's famines and pestilences coming, and earthquakes in diverse places. I don't think we've seen anything yet with the earthquakes. I think earthquakes are coming. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. This is like the beginning of a woman going into labor. Then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted, and they shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. Because you're set apart. You're different. You're not going along with everybody else. You're not following your own way, although they'll say you are. You're following the way Yah has told you to be, the way He has told you to walk, and the nations are going to hate you for it. And as it comes down and down, I mean, if you look at people now who aren't getting a certain thing and how other people look at them and what they say about them and what they say they should do with them, wait till it's the real mark of the beast that people aren't taking. You'll be hated of the nations for my sake. 10. And then shall many be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. You think people are going to sell people out who aren't with the system? Yeah, they will. They'll sell them out because life's going to be so bad, they'll be offered baubles. They'll be offered an extra meal by the people that are in charge to rat out their neighbor or rat out their brother or whatever. And so people are going to turn against each other. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, shall grow cold. People are going to start just hating. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Does it say he that shall just skip lightly through the daisies with little butterflies flying around because I have decided to follow Jesus and nothing bad's going to happen to me? No, you got to endure. That's a real word. Endure till the end. But hey, when you do, you shall be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, all peoples. And then shall the end come. And when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. We don't have time to get into that today. Then let him that be in Judea flee into the mountains. Why do those in Judea have to flee to the mountains?
So bad.
It's fixing to get schwacked. And there's people today saying, let's move to Jerusalem. And I'm telling them, I think I'll wait. I don't want to move to Jerusalem and then have to run to the mountains. So this is a then and a then and a then, right? It's building on each other chronologically. And then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down in to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Kind of a good argument to have your EDC on you and stuff in your vehicle all the time, especially as you see this time running, because you're not going to have time to go get it. When it's time to go, it's time to go right now. And woe unto them that are with child, and them that give suck in those days. But pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat, neither on the Sabbath day. You know, this has taken new meaning to me. Many of us and many people on YouTube are new to keeping Torah, to keeping the faith. We follow Yeshua, and this is like a new thing. And I know people who make excuses and blow off Shabbat for one reason or another. They just do. Now, I'm not saying they make a habit of it, but they're like, it's a little thing, you know, whatever. I really got to change the oil in my car today. Something like that, and they do it. Think about this verse. Think about what's happening before that verse. The world is in chaos. People hate each other. There's wars. There's civil war. And now bad things are happening, and you got to run. Pray that that's not on Shabbat. It'll ruin your Shabbat. Do you see how important Shabbat is? The Father gives us this gift, this day of rest, and even though the world is collapsing around us, picture some post-apocalyptic movie getting ready to happen or something. He's like, man, you guys better pray that's not on Shabbat because it's going to really ruin your Shabbat. We should hallow, bless, love this day that we don't have to work and all we have to do is get together and be with Him. 21. For then, see, then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except if those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days are shortened. We're the elect. We're the chosen by Yah. Chosen from the beginning. Before you were born, He chose you, if you're part of the elect. And He's like, hey, for your sake, enough is enough. We're going to shorten those days. Then if any man shall say unto you, so all this is happening, and then if anyone says to you, lo, here is Christ, the anointed one, the Messiah, Mashiach, or there, believe it not. If anyone tells you in the midst of all this capability, hey, Yeshua just sat down in Kansas City, or check it, Yeshua's right around the corner here He is, don't believe it. Why? For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and they shall show great signs and wonders. These people are going to be able to do amazing things. We're forbidden from doing magic type stuff, right? And talking to dead spirits and dun-dun-dun-dun. We're forbidden from doing that. It doesn't mean it doesn't work. These guys are going to do amazing things. So what? It's not of Yah, so you don't believe it. In so much that it were possible, these great signs and wonders that they do are so believable, they're so awesome, they shall deceive the very elect, if it were possible. It's not possible because we know the deal, but it's like, this is a strong delusion that's coming down. Behold, I have told you before, wherefore if they shall say unto you, behold, He is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, He is in the secret chambers, believe it not. Why? 27, for as the lightning comes out of the east and shall shine even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. No one is going to have to tell you when Yeshua comes back. Do you remember when Yah sat down on the mountain? There's thunder, there's lightning, there's this awesome sound of a shofar-like sound. There's black smoke, the earth is trembling. No one had a doubt that Yah was descending on that mountain. No one had to say, hey, hurry up, come on, Yah's descending on the mountain. They're like, dude, shut up, I know, look at that. Right? And that's like the lightning blast over there, but it makes light over there. It's the same thing. We're going to know when Yeshua comes back. You're not going to have to listen to Pastor Joe tell you that happened. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will be the eagles be gathered together. There's a long thing on that, but short, easy part is, hey, when there's a dead critter out there in the woods, the vultures are circling around it. You can't miss it. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, verse 29, somebody else read me a different version of that part.
Immediately after the distress of those days?
So, immediately before all that terrible stuff happens, is that what it says in somebody's Bible?
Immediately after.
After. So, after the tribulation of those days, meaning we've experienced the tribulation of those days, rapture people, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear, and then, after that, then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes on earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Why are they mourning? Here comes Yeshua. Why are all the tribes of the earth mourning?
Judgment.
Because they done wrong. And they know they've done wrong, and they haven't been following Yeshua. These are not the elect. These are everybody else who's out there pursuing their own agendas on things, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, He is real. Here He comes. I talk about, we read, every knee shall bow, and I said people like us are going to be kneeling going, yes, even so, come Master Yeshua. Other people are going to be doing the Homer Simpson, no! Because they know the hammer is coming. That's why they're mourning, because it's no coulda, shoulda, woulda. He's coming. Here's why we're here. And He shall send His angels with the great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together His elect. That's when the elect are gathered together. At this last trump, at this last shofar, they shall gather together His elect from the four winds and from one end of heaven to the other. As Yeshua is coming, as he's setting down, as the shofar is blowing, just like the sound of the shofar was blowing when Yah came, the fearful day of the Lord. These people are afraid. It's the day of the Lord. Yeshua is showing up, and this time, he came the first time as a lamb. He's coming the second time as a what?
Lion.
A lion. He's going to rule with a what? A rod of iron. You break things with a rod of iron. Bam! Right? And so the people are afraid. This is the great and terrible, for all these people, day of the Lord. At the last trump, which is at the end of everything, that's when the elect are gathered. Rapture people. All right, let's go to 1 Thessalonians, kind of put a little nail in that. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. I'm getting there. There we go. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. We're going to verse 16. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 16. Actually, we're going to start in 13. 1 Thessalonians 4, 13. I see people flipping. I will drink some coffee. 1 Thessalonians 4:13, but I would not have you to be ignorant, brethren, concerning them which are asleep. Does somebody have a different word for asleep?
Ignorant.
It's dead. I don't want you to be ignorant, meaning not knowing, about those who are dead. They've passed on. That ye sorrow not, even as others which have no hope. They're dead. Don't be wailing, pulling out your hair and ashcloth and all that stuff like other people do, because they have no hope. It's why I flat out, I made the decision at the last funeral I did, I am not doing another funeral for a non-believer. I can't do it. I don't have words of hope for those people. Not if I'm going to be honest. These people without Yeshua, who die without Yeshua, they have no hope. Right? So what we're reading here is, don't be like them, concerning those which are dead, that you sorrow not, even as others which have no believe that Yeshua died and rose again. We believe that, right? Mm-hmm. Even so, them which also sleep in Yeshua, meaning they died with following Yeshua. They died in Yeshua, will Elohim bring with him. He's going to bring them with him when he comes back at that last trump. We're going to get there. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord, the Master. So those of us who are alive and remain, we persevere through the tribulation, and then here comes Yeshua, and I always say, I know it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be unfun, but I bought the ticket. I want to take the ride because I want to see Yeshua coming. And if I don't, well, then I'll be there with him first, and y'all will get to see me when that happens. For this we say unto you by the word of the Master, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Master, Yeshua, shall not prevent them which are asleep, meaning we won't go before them which are asleep. They're coming first. Those who died in Christ are coming back first with him. So they're going to be first. We're not stopping them from that. For Yahweh, for the Lord himself, the Master himself, Yeshua, shall descend from heaven with a shout, and with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of Elohim, with the trumpet of Elohim. So he's descending just like when Yah came to the mountain. He's coming down with this voice of an archangel. What the heck does that sound like? I don't know, but it's going to be pretty awesome. And the trumpet, the shofar, the sound that we are supposed to remember on this day coming up, Feast of Trumpets. And then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, those who preceded us in death, to meet the Lord in the air. And so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore comfort one another with these words. See, that happens at the end, at the last trump. And that is what trumpet signifies. And some people could focus on, well, man, that's going to be bad. That's going to be all that tribulation. No, no, no. That's when our Master's coming back. That's when we reunite with Him. That's with those who have gone on before us and have died in Yeshua, are reunited with Him and are coming down. And you think this fellowship's good? That's going to be pretty awesome fellowship when that happens. 1 Corinthians, flip back a little bit, 15. We're almost done. I can see you're getting hot. 1 Corinthians 15. Do I have it? No, I don't. All right. 15 and 50. I did. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Elohim. We're not going to heaven in a fleshly body. Neither doth, it says in the King James, corruption inherent incorruption. Corruption is like your rotting flesh. You're not going to go from rotting flesh into perfect flesh. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep. Here's a secret, believers, and I think it applies to this time. We shall not all die. That's what that means. Not everybody's going to die. If you're alive when Yeshua comes back and you're walking in Yeshua, you're not dying. Check this out. I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye. When? At the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, the shofar shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. Meaning the dead shall be raised not rotting. And we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? For the sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law, Torah. But thanks be to God, Elohim, which gives us the victory through our Lord, our Master, Yeshua HaMashiach. Therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of Yahweh, for as much as ye know that your labor is not in vain in Yahweh. I'm fond of saying, I've read to the end of the book, and I know how it ends, and I'm not afraid of what's coming. I'm not in a hurry to get to Yeshua. I am quite content to wait till He shows up, right? But if I do go early, and you should have this same thought for yourself and for your loved ones, if I do precede you in sleep, if anyone here precedes us in sleep, we don't need to mourn for them. We're going to see Him again when Yeshua comes back. They're first. We're not even before them. This world is not our home. We're just here for a really little while compared to eternity. We're just here for a little bit. There is tribulation coming. There's hard times coming. But the good news is, so is Yeshua. See, Yeshua's coming. It's like He said, these things must come to pass first. But then comes the coming of the Son of Man with the trump. We who belong to Him, we who are walking with Yeshua, we anticipate that day, the day of the last trump, the day when Yeshua comes again with and for His people. The day of Yahweh, the day of the Lord. And if I had a trained staff, this would be blowing already.